The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
There we go. There we go. That's mo better. I'll just sit in the corner like little Jack Horner.
Okay.
Not gonna be able to pan very good, man. Let me see.
So there's at least 3 of you there.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3. There's about 4 or 5 folks here.
Okay. And what do you guys do with databases? Tell me about what your experience is. Do you manage SQL servers, manage SSAS, SSRS, any of that stuff?
You do. I know Tom and Tom do.
Yeah, I do database stuff.
Yeah, Tom, this gentleman across from me, right there in the blue shirt. He's a DBA kind of guy.
So the guy.
Yeah, let me go get the guy that's gonna pay you. Just a minute. I'll be right back, Aaron.
Okay.
Be right back.
So yeah, we don't use integration services and analysis services where I work, but we use the core engine and reporting services.
Yeah.
You use reporting services though.
Yeah.
Sorry, the schedule for Past Summit just came out, so I'm having to download my sessions real quick so that I can put them on my calendar. So I make sure I actually go up there.
What is that squeal?
That's just feedback. Yeah.
Turn your volume down to maybe 80.
To 80? Okay. See if that's better. 72 is a little bit better, I suppose. Is that better? Okay. I'll move some stuff out here.
A lot of food there.
Wow, I guess so.
Even cookies.
You're missing out, Aaron.
What's that? Jimmy John's, nice.
Food, see?
Nice.
I think you're gonna have to ship some of these cookies.
Yeah, we might have to.
And mustard.
I don't know, is there a get cookies?
Huh?
Pardon?
I don't know, is there a get cookies?
Get cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as we get the repository?
No, pretty much
I thought that's what you meant was.
just a man.
Yeah. Oh, I've got you now. Yes, that kind of guy. Not GIT, GE. That's right. My brain's usually on source control, one reason or another.
It's cookie type 2 eat cookies.
Yeah,
There you go.
very good. So how many speakers are there at SQL Pass, Aaron?
About 150, I guess.
Wow, and it's in Atlanta?
No, it's up in Seattle.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's huge.
Wow, really?
Huge.
Are you going?
No. We have 1 or 2 people in our office that'll go.
Really?
I don't do database stuff every day, so
Nor do I.
they get to do that.
Nor do I. I try to make sure that whatever I need to deploy deploys, and then I'll leave it alone. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
I still get a lot of database questions from database design and architecture and technical whatnot, but I don't get to go to the fun stuff. I don't know that I'd really want to go. I watch them on video.
All right, so I totally forgot I'm presenting this week for a customer. And so I just spoke all for what, 8-9 hours today. And so I'm going to have to make this session as short as possible to save my voice, but I'll still try and deliver some pretty cool stuff. And how many of you work with databases and using PowerShell right now?
I do. I do. And Tom does.
Well, we don't.
With Exchange.
Yeah, we don't work with it with PowerShell necessarily, but we do a lot of stuff with databases.
Okay, all right. Do you use SQL Management Studio?
Yep.
Yes.
Good.
When I need coffee.
All right. I'm firing up SQL Management Studio. I'm going to give you a nickel tour once it comes up and show you some things. Make sure that you're aware of them. And
Man, we got lots of them today. Hardly any attendees.
It'll get eaten.
Sorry, say again?
I said, I was just telling our sponsor that we have lots of food and not as many attendees at this time. We usually have somewhere around 12 to 15.
Man, that's what I get for putting SSAS on the description. Dang it. Knew I shouldn't have put that on.
Or well, all three of those at the same time, wasn't it? RS, AS, and IS?
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, the IS content, I had to pause it. I found something I didn't like, and I then promptly got an assignment where I'm working lots of overtime. And so I haven't had any time to go in there and revise it. And what I have, it'll work, but I wouldn't want to show anyone. You know what I mean? Like I might use it, but I don't want to tell anyone else to use it. I don't want anyone knowing I use that hack.
If you guys want something please help yourself.
Yeah.
Go ahead, dude. We'll start here in a couple minutes,
All right, cool.
15 or so. Oliver, there's plenty here. Come on down. Oh, yeah, he put the water over there too.
Tom, who's your sponsor?
Tech Systems.
Okay,
They
good.
sponsor us every month. They do a really good job.
Awesome.
We use their building. Sometimes things change, like this week it changed a little bit, but they've been super. I mean, they've helped me since, gosh, I've started this group back up again in October of 2015 and found them. And I think the first meeting I had with them was in December or January of 2016 or December of 2015. I forget which month, but they've been sponsoring me for almost 2 years now. It's been awesome. Yeah. And then they also help with PowerShell Saturday as well. I didn't have as much time this year to actually go chase people down to get sponsorship for the Saturday here in Phoenix. So we're going to make do with what I and the team was able to put together. So we're going to do it at we're going to have the Saturday event at Wells Fargo next month. Almost a month away from today. From Saturday. It'll be in like a month. The 14th. What's the day? The 12th? Almost a month. Right at a month. And Helmick's going to be there, and so is Jason Yoder and Tommy Maynard. And Tommy Maynard. And it's free again this year. So we were going to try to charge a fee for it, but gosh, there's so much legwork in getting all that done. It was too much work this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to do one again next year.
I know, right? I say that every year.
A lot of work. It's a lot of work.
But since I've gotten married, I quit organizing the SQL Saturdays.
Well, my wife's been pretty gracious. She lets me organize this, and the Saturday event. She usually helps me out with stuff too. So
Yeah, I saw her pop in and she left.
yeah,
She got her food and left.
she sits out. She's
That's
been
perfect.
sitting outside.
I don't know.
This is not her forte. She's a release management type person. So kind of does all the PM front end, making sure things get released right.
I'm Sam Smith. Hi, Nick. Nice to meet you. First two. About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. Yeah. Maybe about the IS6 role, or I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So where are you working now? Sumika Electronic Materials.
Where's that at?
Actually, just down the road, just south of the airport.
Ah, okay.
Cool. Pretty close. Yeah.
How about you, Jim?
I'm Dignity Health.
Dignity Health. Oh, wow.
We never exchanged.
Oh, wow. Cool. Are you guys using on premises?
Going to the group by what? Yeah, all on premise. Migration.
You're doing it to 2013? That going pretty good?
Yeah. Migrated 1,000 mailboxes today.
Huh, that's cool.
Doing another 1,000 tonight. So is that something you can like automate with PowerShell? Yeah. I did all the staging with PowerShell. It was a little funny getting access, so, and I did practically nothing with PowerShell, so all I had to access, I wrote my scripts, and they're like, oh, you need to do all this. Okay, change my numbers, it's done.
Nice.
Let's just give it another 5 or 10 minutes and then we'll get started, Aaron, so you can make sure your voice can recover.
Yeah.
Is that cool? Is that okay?
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. 5 minutes will be fine. It's getting late, so I gotta get this in before I pass out.
Yeah, what is it?
8:45.
Exactly. I'll see the course over there. Tom, this is Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Guys, no, Jason. He
Nice
actually
to meet
used to
you.
work at DMG as well. You work at District Medical Dignity, right? Yeah. Okay, got those mixed up, but similar. healthcare
So they both start with D, right?
Yeah, both healthcare.
Yeah, you're right.
But, yeah. So Jason just started working at Wells Fargo.
Oh, cool. We're actually doing the PowerShell Saturday next month over there.
I didn't know what that is. So,
Well, we're gonna have 4 speakers. It'll be like a mostly all day event.
okay.
3. I'm still working on the 4th speaker to find out whether he's gonna speak or not. If not, it'll be Tom or Tom probably.
Or maybe, both. Who knows?
Maybe we could gang up.
A little tag team.
Anyway, it'll be Jason Helmick, Jason Yoder, and Tommy Maynard from Tucson. I don't know if anybody's read Tommy Maynard's stuff. He's a really good speaker. I talked him into speaking last year. He did a real good job, so I asked him to come back this year. So,
Yeah, Becky did more information on that.
well, I have a post for it. I put an Eventbrite out for it. You know what? I haven't put I can't remember if I put a blog post out for PowerShell Saturday or not. Maybe that's why I'm not getting any traffic. Gosh. Dadgummit.
That vacation.
I'll have to put it out. Yeah, that kind of got in the way.
Yeah.
Kind of got in the way.
First one was over there at Microsoft.
When,
When Helmick and the scripting guys.
yes, gosh, that was,
Microsoft story. It was like 2 years ago.
yeah, it was almost 2 years ago, not quite. Because the scripting guy actually retired this last year. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
No, I had.
What's his name? Ed Wilson.
Yeah.
He retired. No, he was in his early 60s, I think. He was just ready to move on and enjoy life beyond work, I think. Oh, that's right. Thanks, Oliver.
What up, Oliver?
Can you not talk, Oliver? Do you not have audio?
If he's just a regular participant, you may have to open up the audio.
Is that the way this works? Aaron?
By default, it doesn't allow it. There you
If
go.
someone signs up to that link, by default, they will not be able to speak. They'll be able to hear.
Hey, what's up, Oliver? You must be at the college still, huh?
Same to you, PowerShell. Oh, yeah?
I am transitioning from a one-man IT for the company, and we are merging our IT systems with the sister company who's much larger. And so now I'm going to be doing larger projects.
One-man IT for two companies?
No, they actually have an IT department with multiple people. So that's going to be quite cool.
Some partners, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm learning PowerShell right now. That's just running, run it and kind of follow along the scripts.
Hey, Rebecca, how are you?
Good.
Just watch your step.
It's okay, I know, you go the other way.
Maybe.
I'm definitely watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, if I sit closer, I'd think that.
PowerShell's.
Whatever you want. I mean, we can always change
Still
my,
okay, I just-
we can always change the note like that. Well, you know what? Let's see. We got what, 10 minutes? We could start 10 minutes early. Everybody good? We'll just, yeah. I think, so before we get started, what I'd like to do is first welcome everybody here to Arizona PowerShell Users Group for September. We usually have this on the first Tuesday of the month. So if you're looking for it, please look for it on the first Tuesday of the month. The only exceptions is when there is a holiday, like there was last week, and PowerShell Saturday, which is next month on the 14th October. That's when we'll meet for next month. And then in November, we'll have, oh my goodness, I can't think of his, I'll think of his name in here in a minute, I'll pull it up. But I already have the speaker lined up for November. Gosh, I always put myself on the spot and I can't remember. But in any case, this week we have Aaron from SQL IO. Is that right, Aaron? SQL IO. What's the site name that you have?
SQL PSIO is the PowerShell user group for PASS. So.
Okay. So with that, what I'd like to do before I turn it over to Aaron is give our sponsor a few minutes to talk about his company. And first of all, thanks very much for sponsoring us again for another month. We very much appreciate it. All the food and the building, and I mean, it's been great, dude.
Yeah, of course.
So what I'm going to do is turn it over to Tech Systems so that they can have their portion of this.
Yeah, don't need a lot of time. I know most people here, because we're looking to the first time face-to-face. Tech Systems, pretty straightforward. Right now, the IT industry unemployment rate is less than 2%. So pretty much everybody that we talk to has a job, currently employed. So you can be very picky about looking for your next opportunity. I don't want to waste your guys' time talking about job descriptions right now. They're probably not relevant to your skills or what you're looking to do. But let's get offline. I'd love to connect, grab a bite to eat. We do food really well at Tech Systems. Just kind of get a better understanding of your specific skills, goals, what you're looking to do, which is where you're looking to grow, which you're looking to learn in. And then when I do see that opportunity, I'll give you a call and say, hey, take a look at this and what you think. So working with a couple of my group. We got Jason a job about a month ago, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, don't want to take too much of you guys' time. We're looking forward to PowerShell Saturday next month. Definitely sponsoring that as well.
Sure. So I'll get out of you guys' hair, but have at it in here.
Okay,
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, and thanks for Shane. He is awesome.
Oh, Shane,
Hauser?
Hauser, okay. I don't know that man, but you're welcome.
okay, so everybody please feel free to partake of the food that they purchased for us. So
It's really good.
So Aaron, I'll let you take it away, my friend.
There we go. That'll help, right?
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Amazing. All right. So this is my blog, SQLvariant.com. I've got quite a few PowerShell posts that I've done over the years, almost exclusively to do with SQL Server. I'm going to show you a little bit of SQL Server stuff today, and then by SQL Server I mean relational engine, and then I'll show you some SSRS. And if anyone does SSAS, I can show you that as well. If no one in the room does SSAS, maybe I should skip that. I don't know. I'll let you guys pick.
I'm about to. I have a story in my backlog that I got to start on SSAS.
All right. Well, then I'll go over it.
Okay.
So then this is the, sorry, if I look silly, it's because I'm in a hotel room and I'm looking up at the screen in the hotel room as I'm using it as my second monitor. This is Object Explorer and Object Explorer details inside of SQL Server Management Studio. I'm on the databases node, and on Object Explorer details, which you get to come up by hitting F8, you can right click on it and you can add all kinds of different pieces of information to your view. I like to add in a bunch of them about the space, backup date, things like that. Everything that's in here, this is kind of an easy conversation for me to have with a group of people that already do PowerShell. These are all properties of the object, of the database object. And click on one of these databases, you actually get a list of some of these in here as well. Anything you can see on the screen, you can access in SQL PowerShell. Pretty cool things that you can do inside of here. You're not sure if you're familiar with these things or not, but you can come in here and you can grab a bunch of tables, lasso them like that. You can use the right-click function and do script table as create if you needed to, and put them all into a single file to create. It'll eventually do. There it goes. All right. So there it created all those tables for me very quickly and easily. I like that functionality. Another hidden secret feature in SQL Server Management Studio's Object Explorer details, and actually the same hidden feature exists in PowerShell's Outgrid view. If I come over here to Object Explorer details and I just do Control-C, which you'll just have to believe me that I had just hit Control-C on my keyboard since you couldn't see me do it. And then I come in here to Excel and hit Control-V. I now have a list of all those things that I was looking at, and I've got them in here in an Excel spreadsheet in case I needed them. Again, Out Grid View here in PowerShell will allow you to do the same thing, and it never tells you that you can do Control-C. It never tells you that you can right-click and copy or anything like that. None of the context menus tell you that. You just have to find it out. Oops, hold on. Sorry, 1 second. I got to turn on quiet hours here. How many of you are familiar with the new SQL Server module that is available in the PowerShell gallery?
A little bit.
Right. So if you don't know that, you can do install module, SQL Server, and you can get the module from the PowerShell gallery. Move this up. There you go. That one's got a lot of commandlets in it. So well, a lot for us. For other parts of the world, it's not very many commandlets. It's only 95, I think. $98. Well, no, it's really 95.
Yeah. Getting rid of the aliases.
Exactly, right? Yeah, now that we got rid of those, it's really 95. They actually just added a few of them recently for SSAS, 2 new ones, and then they just modified it. The last drop of the module was for the 2 of the SSAS commandlets. It's got a few downloads, and I guess that's what about 10,000 downloads in just a couple weeks. That's not too bad. Let's see. Oh, I'm trying to look and see if it's got, okay, yeah, it's got its list of commandlets there. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with the gallery, so I don't have to tell you how that works.
Anybody not use the gallery? You haven't yet? So pretty much just imagine that if you're looking for a module or something, if you go out to PowerShellGallery.com, you can go look for almost any module that you want, which will contain a bunch of scripts, functions inside of them, or you can also find scripts in the gallery too.
That's the
So,
outsourced PowerShell.
yep, basically,
Awesome.
basically 100% right. It's like chocolatey for
I spent,
PowerShell.
I've spent hours and hours.
Yes, very much.
We'll start with that.
All right, so inside of here is now the commandlets to work with SSAS. The commands, because they're not actually commandlets, to work with SSRS are in a separate module. I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm just going to give you a quick nickel tour here. If I do git PS drive, I've already imported that module. And so I've got a SQL Server drive here. So I'll switch over to it. I do a dir. I see that I've got different things that I can work with. The most important to know about are SQL registrations, the SQL Server provider for relational SQL Server, the one for SSIS, and then the one for SSAS.
Nice, I didn't know it was in that provider. Cool.
So we'll go to, does everyone know what registered servers is? No one? Central management service?
Shit, I don't remember. Oh, with a central management?
Register a service with the.
Isn't that where you have one server that you have all your SQL servers registered with?
Yes. Central management server is indeed that. And registered servers is when you have it in a local file.
Ah, okay.
So if you look here, I've got registered servers, which is basically just an XML file on my machine. If I expand that, oh, not on this one. Sorry, different version of Management Studio. And it's just coming up now. Hold on a second.
You can export that and import it into other machines, that type of stuff. So,
Well, that's cool, because then you could build it with a regular XML tool and shell if you want to.
Yeah, I found it easier to, as much as I'm a database person, maintaining it just by using an XML file in SharePoint was actually an easier way to do it in a couple of cases. So I guess I'm just really bad at central management server. Sorry, that took a moment to open. So there's my databases again, hit F8 key to get me some Object Explorer details. Or is it F7? F7 apparently. It's one of those F keys. So if I, yeah, there we go, expand database engine. If I take a look here, here are my 2 SQL servers that I'm working with. The reason I say it's the most important to know about, rather than like the SQL Server one, is because SQL registrations are right here. And you can go over to them and have a look, and we'll switch over to database engine server group. And we'll do a dir.
Real quick, what's the function of this registration file that we're talking about? I'm not really understanding that.
When you have like a bunch of servers in your infrastructure and you need to connect to them, like you're gonna need to connect to server 1 or server 2 or whatever it is, you can have an XML file that represents the connection to all those different
So rather
SQL
than
servers.
authenticating to each one individually.
Right.
I'm not sure, how does the authentication work?
Well, rather than typing in
Windows.
each server name and server instance, you can just either point click or use PowerShell to kind of connect to it. The other thing you can do in
So it's like a connections profile. It just has all your connections in there.
like a directory, right? So that's easy just to point click. The other thing, and I don't mean to steal anybody's, mean to steal your thunder, Aaron, but the other thing you can do is you can open up queries to multiple copy or multiple registered servers at the same time.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
And I think you can query in one query window multiple registered servers at the same time.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So you open up a query by right clicking on host folder on there, and okay, that's really cool.
Yep, that is. So it says connected 2 of 2. All right, so get that.
So I can find my volume, turn it down just a little bit.
So inside of here, you can get the instance names, and then from there you'd be able to loop through and query multiple servers with PowerShell all at once. So that's why it's more important than any of the other providers. So let's do Peggy. Yeah, all right, sweet. Didn't see the one that actually tell me anything about that. That's great. Just trying to make sure I set this up. Might have been wrong. Tab 2016. Great. Tab 2016. There we go. So now I'm on my tabular instance. Perfect. And I can see my databases. So I'll come back to that one later. Peace. Perfect. All right, so let's get to the PowerShell SSRS content. Are there any Microsoft employees in the room?
Negative.
Huh?
Negative.
What was that, Microsoft what?
Employees.
Oh,
Because depending on if there are or not, I tell a slightly different version of the story. So you guys get the fun version. So 3 months back, back actually in January, I posted this blog post about these tools that you can use that are basically SSRS project so that you can monitor your databases. And the way it works is you load this report project to an SSRS server, and then that SSRS server can connect to each one of your database servers and give you some performance information out of them. This is a project that first started in 2012 and then resurfaced at the beginning of this year in the form of a GitHub project. So now it's open sourced. One of the reports is actually now built into Management Studio, but it's not the full version of the report. But if you go to Reports, Standard Reports, and Performance Dashboard, in Management Studio, you'll now get the same version of, well, not the same version, pretty close to the same report that you get in this project.
I did earlier. It must be the ambient light in here. Well, I did when I used that remote. Let me.
Yeah, flashlight.
Sorry, the screen went a little dim on us.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that the remote for the? This must be for the camera.
Just brightened up.
Did it? Yeah, sure did. There we go. That's better.
I'll just keep pushing the button. All right, we figured it out. Sorry.
Great.
Go ahead, Aaron.
So this is a great project to have. It's free. You can let other people see what's going on with the SQL servers, not just yourself. And I think it's really cool. The only thing was when he posted the directions for how to set this up, he said, first download the project from GitHub, then download SSDT-BI for Visual Studio 2012 or 13 and install it, which as soon as you do that, now you have to install updates, right? And that's 800 meg to start with. The reason that you have to do this is so that you can go to the project file and you can change this guy's laptop name out of the target URL. It's the only reason. Traditionally, SSRS projects have been deployed this way, but once I saw that he had you download an 800 meg file and then apply updates, I kind of lost my shit. And I politely asked if they would allow me to show them a better way to do this. And they said, you have one? And I'm like, oh yes, watch this. And this was right before the Super Bowl was about to start. And I tweeted to one of the SSRS guys. I started sitting down to do this. And I found a way to do just about everything I needed to. So in these steps, I need to download the file from the GitHub repository. I'm going to skip step 3 because I don't need that because I'm going to use PowerShell. And then I am going to deploy this to a SQL Server reporting instance without using Visual Studio. I need to set this target URL and then deploy it there and put it in its own folder because I don't want to just put it out on the server by itself. Out on the root. I want to, put it in a good structure. So I found out that there was no command at the time to actually do the create a folder. So I tweeted one of the guys from the SSRS team. This is about 30 minutes before the kickoff of the Super Bowl, and said, hey, there's no command to do this. He said, you're right. You can just use the API. I said, does the API, is that the process where I tweet to you and then you build it and then you tell me when it's posted? Is that what the API does? I've never used an API before. So he didn't respond to that. And I'm like, maybe. I'll take it as a maybe. And so eventually he finally did reply and said, okay, here it is, posting now to GitHub. So I was like, sweet, I was right. That is what an API is. I used was it the Twitter API? Is that what we call it then? So yeah, still don't know what an API really is, but I suspect that's not quite it. But it did work that way, so that was fun. So I'm just opening up something else in another window real quick. It's not working, so I'm going to try it here. Yay. I just want to get authenticated to this before. Yeah, or actually just start the service. That would probably be helpful.
This is just the module.
Sorry for the little delay there. I thought I had everything ready for you guys, and then I was running into a funny issue with Power BI, and I said, you know, I'll just take the safe route and reboot before the presentation. But then I forgot I didn't turn on my SSRS server after I got done. So now that should work. All right, enough of that stuff. So then deploy all these to a folder, and then you can browse to it. So I was like, this is great, but you lost me at download Visual Studio. So I said, hey, I think there's a better way. And there is now. I sent them a script that will try to load up the reporting services tools module. If it's not there, go ahead and download it. Then it will get the zip file and download that. Get this SQL file, download that separately. Once it gets downloaded, and I guess we can do probably easier to do this in raw and put it into the editor. I don't know about you, but I understand the colors of the ISE better than the colors on the GitHub page. And can you guys read that? I have no idea what the screen looks like on in your place, but it looks amazing here. So
Yeah, we're good, dude. We're good.
all right, cool. So we download this, and I unzip it, put it in a folder here, put the file there for the SQL file. The SQL file needs to be run against every SQL server that you're going to monitor or point this thing at. And then the SSRS instance, you're probably going to have to change this. I just took the default of localhost report server, which is if you had only one instance and you didn't name it, that's where it would be. You might need to put this into some other server. So then I went ahead and downloaded it, unzipped it, and I connect up to the SSRS server, create a new folder for you. Then with this one command, it's pretty cool. So let's slide back over here. I've already downloaded this, so I'll give you a look-see at what we're talking about. Inside of this directory, there's a whole bunch of report files, and we want to deploy all of them. And we're going to be able to do that with this single line of code right here, RS Sprite folder content. You can give it the report server URI, so which is that one right there. Your new base folder that you just created will be right here, and then destination. The base folder is where on the hard disk you stored it. Sorry, I got that wrong. And then the new reports folder is over here on the destination. Pretty simple. Deploys all the code for you in just a few seconds, and then goes and looks at your registered server file and runs the SQL file against every single one of them. And that's why I was showing you the registered servers a minute ago, because even in a SSRS demo, I just happened to throw in a call to the registered servers because it made sense to. Just lining this up, maybe it might read a little easier to you this way.
I think you're gonna need a backtick. Line 43. You're gonna need a backtick at the end?
Nope, got a pipe. Nope.
Okay.
Nope, right there, that pipe. That does it for me. I know I have an old blog post that does that, but no, I don't need a backtick.
Okay. So,
yeah, I'm not gonna run it that way, but I was just lining up. I read SQL code like this, where it's like containerized. This is what I would be expecting. So, so that's what I do, and run it against each one. And then at the very end of the process, I go ahead and open up the dashboard main and show you the reports that you just loaded up. So I did this, and let's see, performance dashboard main is right here. It doesn't take this long. It's actually, you're going to end up seeing this report that you see right here in Management Studio. And this didn't take that long to render, so I'm not sure why it's doing that to me. Let's see, just got a hung thread. Okay. Let's try this. There we go. That's what it should be done. So then I can go do this. Do view report. Report for me. Man, this thing is going slow as Christmas today. There it goes. That's better. From here, there's a lot of sub-reports that you can click on. So page storage report is one of my favorite ones to go.
you're taking all the CPU up because everything's running locally. You're coming a little broken, dude.
What'd you do?
Is everything running on your laptop?
Here. And I'm at a hotel, so everyone's getting back and watching Netflix and
Or something.
Yeah. Is it getting bad, the audio?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, great.
That's
like,
better. That's
right.
better. What? I think you stopped your video, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Hopefully that'll improve it.
Yeah, that helped.
All right. No one wouldn't see me anyway, so good. So that, in a nutshell, is how you can deploy SSRS reports. Realistically, if you had a project file and you wanted to deploy that project file, you could probably get away with just a single line of code to do it. And then there's another one, I think it's something on the order of like alt RS folder content, maybe. I can't remember all these names off the top of my head. And if I did this, so let me do a couple, let me set a couple of these variables here. Oops. so that hopefully they are the things I want them to be. So it did, and base folder did. So I don't know if so destination is not the right one. It would be price folder. Man, I'm not typing the name. There it goes, RS folder. So I tell it the folder on here that I want, and I tell it, so I need to tell a different directory. Let's call it, instead of putting it right back here, I'll create another folder called AZPosh. And find out if doing this impromptu change of demo on the fly was a good idea or not. So basically I'm saying I want to get all the things that are in this folder and I want to go ahead and pull them out. Boom, cannot see. Oh, path is it. And then so that would be the destination. RS folder is an alias for path, or vice versa, one or the other. And right, of course, that's not the actual name of my web server. Give me a second. But it's actually sounding good. It sounds like it's getting close. Might happen. So I go here. Come back over here and just click. Okay. So, and then I will throw on the dash verbose. And oh, right. Let me do this one more time. So if you've ever worked with SSRS before, I don't know if you would be familiar with this, but I'll go ahead and go through it with you since I already stumbled on this once while I'm trying to present this to you. I did the web service, web portal URL, not the web service URL. So inside of reporting services, there are two important URLs to know about. If you open up report services configuration manager, I went to the web portal URL and gave it that link. And what I needed to do was give it that link, I guess. Whichever link I gave it, it was wrong. Report server, okay. So it needs to be this one. And then that should work. And see if I finally got it right. It's doing something. Yay. Maybe. There we go. Take a look at that folder. Boom, imports right now. So then Tom can actually tell you more about how to not only move this kind of stuff, but also move subscriptions along with it in case you want to be able to do that. Tom can tell you lots more about that topic. But there is an open source module that you can get to out there. You can find it in the gallery or go to sequelps.io/SSRS, I think. That should take you to one of the places. There you go. That's the reporting services tools module out on GitHub. And then you can just
I haven't had time
SSRS up on the gallery.
on my pester test to get all that stuff out because I've done
exactly right.
I did a bunch of caching and a bunch of subscription, like the data-driven subscription and or subscriptions inside of SSRS. I have them so you can persist them to file. And then I have a CI built around those subscription files. So, but there's never enough time in the day to do everything when you're a one-man show.
Exactly. All right, so that is that. Go do, oh, by the way, I highly recommend that you actually use the method.
The which method?
The what method?
Called
Aaron?
install module. Let's see.
Hey, Aaron, can you repeat that?
There's
You
another
came
way to
in.
do it. Sure thing. Don't do this.
What does it say?
Now, don't do this. So it's an invoke rep request.
Invoke expression. It's pretty
Yep.
dangerous.
The best,
Really?
Yes.
exactly. And the problem is it does it in the scope of user, and that is such a pain in the ass update. So avoid it.
Somebody must be watching Shameless in your hotel.
I don't know what they're doing, but I can we'll just laugh and it sounds like they're watching something. You guys can hear them in the background, but they're pretty dang loud. All right, so that's pretty much everything for you guys. Next, I'll just quickly show you a little bit. Get there, I'll show you from one of my favorite articles here. Quick bit of code. MS SQL tips or SQL Server Central.
Still there?
I am. Can you
Okay,
guys-
you're coming in. Yeah, you're kind of coming in broken.
There are a couple more. I don't have any other way to connect up, so we'll see. This command up here on the screen, you database on your instance just filters V, which can't be backed up.
Hey, Aaron, can you use your phone and call on your phone?
Grid view.
We're only getting about every other word.
my phone is installing updates.
Nice.
Must be a Windows phone.
Apple didn't come out with anything today, did they? Software wise? They usually do when they launch. Anybody look? I haven't
There's
looked.
nothing here that I know.
They announced all the iOS 11 stuff earlier in the year at their developer conference.
Oreo came out like last week.
Oh, is that what they're calling it? Is Oreo?
On Android.
Oh, on Android, okay.
Yeah, but iOS 11 is with the new hardware.
Oh, of
So in
course,
essence, it'll be,
of course.
but
want you to upgrade.
they told you about it already, what new features and stuff like that are. They've been doing betas for a long time.
So when's iOS 11, OS 11 coming out for you?
iOS 11 will be with the new hardware, I believe.
So we're not gonna be having, but
Well, you'll be able to update later on, but they won't publish it to everybody else for a little while. Good.
yeah.
I didn't listen to the talks today.
It is a Windows phone.
Must be a Windows 10 phone then.
It's not next week, right?
Oh, thanks, Oliver.
Oliver.
Thank you, Oliver.
That's a connection. Not in tech.
Worse. Yeah, it's getting worse. Is that what you're gonna say? Yeah, I agree. It's 9:30 his time, 6:30 here.
Oh,
Can you guys?
Yeah, we can barely make you out a little bit. Okay.
Cue preset of demo.
Pardon me? Well, we were actually working good when we first started about 5:30.
On this command up here. You can use this as a filtering command to back up.
So has anybody used the SQL provider here? I know I have. Have
I
you?
played with it a little bit, but nothing too serious.
Really? Yeah, I did a little bit of backup stuff like what he's showing in the previous company I was in.
Yeah, it's kind of nice because not only can you do basically like directory commands to look at the data and the tables and things like that in the database, and you can pipe that into an object, but you can also do management types of things within SQL Server as well to kind of manage it, to do backups, to create databases, to delete databases, to turn on logging, or that
Yeah, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
Have you tried to touch
An Express database, so
or whatever they call it?
it shouldn't really matter whether it's Express or not. It's the tricky part is actually finding the Express named instance sometimes. And usually it's like your host name, black SQL Server Express or something, or SQL Express.
It depends on what version you have too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What I would suggest instead of using SQL Express anymore is the current version of SQL Server Developer Edition is all free. So I would get that, and that in essence gives you what is in Enterprise Edition, but with a limited number of connections and things like that.
Yeah, I think you're limited on how much data you can use. Isn't it? It's like 10 meg
Not
or 10
with
gig or
Developer
something.
Edition.
And that you're limited in some
There
form.
is a limit on it.
There's a limit because I hit it.
I think
with,
it's like connection.
Express is 10 gig.
Yep.
But not Developer Edition. The Developer Edition is not the same as Express.
Developer is unlimited because it is Enterprise Edition.
Oh, is that right?
So we're getting
Okay.
the audio back. Yeah. Great. But yeah, if you're using Express, if you want to go to the current, go to Developer Edition because it's free, just like Express was.
So it's just an on-your system.
No,
So is the audio back?
Right.
Yeah, much better now, dude.
Not to use it for
Okay.
purpose,
Yeah.
Let's use some SSAS stuff real quick before we lose it again.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to connect up to an SSAS tabular model or tabular database server. I hit the connect button. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at these. Inside of here, if you ever work with SSAS people, sometimes they have to process their dimensions or process their cubes. And you can come in and get this information one object at a time, like last update, last process, but you can only do it one at a time inside of Management Studio. It doesn't give you options to have a column here. It's very frustrating. So I worked with the SSAS team and modified the provider so that it will report back information that you need to know. You can use this. You can use this SQL AS cmdlets module, or you can use the SQL Server module. They both have the same cmdlets. I would assume that the SQL Server module now has the latest cmdlets. If we go here and look at our databases, so here on tabular, if I do a dir, see my health check database. Another dir. I'll see my cubes. Switch over to those. Do that dir. I can see my last process date. So if I go back, go to, what is this? Dimensions. Do dir here. There we go. Now I can see multiple last process dates at the same time. From here, if I found that these were out of date and I wanted to process multiple of them, there's an invoke process dimension commandlet that I can use. It does not currently accept pipeline input, but I can go ahead and iterate over it with a for each loop. So I can just need to hit this and then get this pop up. I love out grid view in case you hadn't noticed yet. I can then say, hey, these are what I want to process. Click OK. It'll go off and process them. It does not update the status, unfortunately. So once it finally gets done, it'll be done, but you won't know about it. So here we are. Go process them all. Apologies for scrolling all around on the screen. I'm looking for one more command. Might be in this one. See, this is why you blog. Second while I go find this. Next page. Here it is. So for the SQL Server.
Nice. I didn't know there was a refresh, did you? Is that built into that provider? Or does the get child item have a dot refresh on it? I don't remember seeing that, do you?
I'm sure somehow it has to be connected to the provider.
I think so too, but it's interesting.
I mean, that in essence is a method call.
Yeah, it is.
So,
That makes me want to dig in and see if you can pass just one thing to it. Uh-oh, his audio must have gone to crap again. So for next month, hopefully we can sit down and talk about when we can meet, all that kind of stuff. I don't think Will's gonna show up. He's got too much on his plate. So one of us will have to be the other speaker, me or Tom or somebody.
Maybe we can talk about PowerShell and SQL Server.
Maybe, yeah, that's what I've
Yeah, we
been
do this
doing.
at work.
Do you?
Yeah. But what about a beginning? I got a lot of interest from high school kids that are graduating. What about a very beginning? Like get it installed, do your very, very first.
like learn PowerShell in a month of lunches or something like that?
For our October thing that we're doing. You
Yeah,
know,
we're only having 4 speakers
but
because of the way we chose to do it this year.
we have 2 rooms.
Okay, we only have 4 speakers.
I know, so we could just, like, the new kids are coming out of school, the ones in high school, we could put them over in the other room and get them started. You know, this is how you install it, you know, let's write your first little color down.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot of interest from homeschoolers.
Cool.
And then I need those leaflets, who has those leaflets to go to the schools. Red Mountain's interested, Red Mountain. They have a huge technology thing for high school kids. Don't ever underestimate high school kids. Let me tell you.
Aaron, can you hear us? How about you, Oliver? Can you hear us? Yeah, I understand what you're getting at. True.